Shabbat Shalom. So today we're going to look at a new parasha which is called the Parashah Vayeshev, which is about the life of Vayeshev in Egypt. So before we start, I want to make a short remembrance that we may understand why we should study the Torah. And always I repeat it again and again because it is of so much importance that we need to have it in our mind always and before us. We don't read the parasha for tradition. We don't follow tradition because if we think we follow tradition, this tradition exists already in the first century. You may ask how I know that. Yes, I know because in the book of Acts, in chapter 15, if you read, you will see that the Torah of Moshe was read in the assembly every Shabbat. So this means it's not a tradition, a man-made tradition from the 21 centuries, but it's a tradition which exists already in the time of Yeshua. Now, why Torah? Why to study the Torah? There is two reasons for that. I will give you one, which is found in the book of Yeshayahu, or the Isaiah, in chapter 46, we read, in the verse 9 and 10, remember the former things of old. I am El, or I am God, none else. I am God, and none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient time, things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Here the prophet Yeshaya will speak of something which is very important because it's a declaration from our Father in heaven, Yehovah Tsebaot, who say that he speaks the end from the beginning. The word in the beginning, I believe that many know that, is Bereshit. But this is also the name of the first book of Moshe, Bereshit, which means beginning. So he said here that he declared the end from the beginning. This means that if we want to know the end, and not be trapped in man's made doctrine, we have to study the beginning. And if we study the beginning, I can tell you that by the power of the Ruach that comes from Mashiach Yehoshua, you will have discernment in your study. Now, we have stated already in the book of Romans, in the chapter 12, I will read because we need to read in order to understand. In Romans 12, let me turn to it. In verse 2, Shaul, or Paul, say that we should not be conformed to this world. And I will read, be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may know, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of Elohim. So, Paul is encouraging believers, at this time was it in Rome, to forget the world system and all what they think, what they do, what they teach, but to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. The process of transforming ourselves is by the renewing of our mind. And so we need to understand that the Torah is not man-made words. It is the very word which comes from the mouth of Elohim. So when we let this word enter into our mind, it will cleanse our mind from former things, from all the teaching, from tradition, from all what we have learned before. And the more we take the habit to read the parasha every Shabbat, we will be transformed. And this is the power, because the word of Elohim is a living word. It's a living word. We have the power to transform and to change us, to make us in the image of our Master Yehoshua HaMashiach. This is our goal. The goal is given again by Paul when he said in Romans 8:29 that our goal is to be transformed in the likeness of our Master Yehoshua HaMashiach. So it's only the Torah that can do that. Not our goodness, not because we are better. It's only by obedience to read the Torah and to trust Jehovah to work in us what is pleasing to Him. Now, I will go back to the Parashah, which is really interesting because we're going to see the life of Vayeshev. Vayeshev was the beloved son of Yaakov. You know, when you have many children, if we want to admit or not, there is always one we like more than the other, for different reasons. I will not go into detail. In this case, it is Vayeshev. Vayeshev was the four last born from Yaakov. After him came Benjamin, but he loved Vayeshev. He loved him and give him some privilege. We know that he make him a coat of many colors, which is a symbol. Again, I say, if you want to have the details of this parasha, you will have to go in my blog and to read all, because there is a lot to learn, what I cannot yet speak because it is too long. So you will have yourself to take the time to read. I took the time to write, you take the time to read. And you will see that there is so many things we can read. So today we're going to overflow the parasha to give you a frame of this parasha, what we can learn from it. Okay? So here, Jacob has returned from the land of Laban, his wicked uncle, and now he come back to the land which has been given to Abraham and Isaac, his forefathers, his father and forefathers. And he dwelt there. He dwelt there. He didn't follow the way of Esau, but he dwelt there. And now he speaks about the children, and he will focus on particular in the life of Vayeshev. And this life is very, very interesting for us, as the symbolic is very important to understand. If you go into my blog again, you will have to look for a paper I wrote concerning the Pardes. The Pardes is a way of interpretation, a way among others. There is other way. But the Pardes was used in the first century to learn in the Torah. So in the Pardes we have 4 steps. Pardes is an acronym for Peshat, Remes, Drash, and Sod. These are words, Hebrew words, but Peshat is literal. The Remes is a hint. This means what we are reading hint to something in the future. The Drash is what we learn from it. It is also an allegory. Like Paul used many allegories to speak in his epistle and letters. And the last one is a Sod, which is a mystery. I know that many people don't think, oh no, there is no mystery in the Torah. They will use some verses, but we know in the Psalm, if I remember well, the Psalm 25, it is written that Jehovah revealed the secret to those who love Him. If you go to the word Hebrew in the secret here in Psalm 25, you will see it is the word Sod. So the Sod is your personal relationship with Elohim. This is what He will reveal to you personally, in order to strengthen you, to show you things which maybe nobody has seen before you, or at least you have not heard. And this is very important. So when we read the text, we have the Peshat, which is the literal text. It means what he say. So, and after that, we have to look and to dig into it and to see the remes, to what it is pointing in the future. In the case of Vayeshev, Vayeshev is a mirror of the work of Yeshua in the world of the pagans, among the Goyim, among the nations. And it is confirmed by the prophet Yeshayahu. Okay? So, if we read that carefully, we will see that the life of Vayeshev, and this is, by the way, the reason why our brethren from Yehuda today do not recognize the pagan Jesus. So Yeshua is reflected in the life of Vayeshev, because if our brethren from Yehuda today do not recognize the Jesus, it's just because he looks like a pagan. And much more because this Jesus do not proclaim the Torah. The Torah, according to Jesus, is abolished, which is not. But let us put that by side just to understand that Joseph was not recognized by his brethren when they came 2 times, because he was looking like an Egyptian. Now, Joseph is in the field with his brethren, and he told them that he has 2 dreams. Okay. Once again, for the details, you have to go in my blogs. I will not give you the details. And these 2 dreams, which are of importance to understand, will make the brethren upset. They will be very, very upset, because they thought this boy is very arrogant. Indeed, he was 17 years old, and he was a young boy who was in a good position in his father's house, and he boasted himself. Even the father will tell him that it's a bit too much. But the father, in opposition to this brother, do not plan anything evil against him. And the brethren were so upset after he gave them the dreams, showing that something will happen, which is a picture. I say it again, a picture of what will happen between the tribes and Yeshua, because it is written, at the name of Yeshua, every knee will bow. You remember that? I know you know this verse. And this is what will happen. Yeshua is our Adon, our master. We don't have any rabbis, we don't have any orders, we have only one master, and this is Yeshua. Okay? And here the picture is there. But the brethren do not accept that, first of all, because he was the youngest one at this time, or the last one before Benjamin. They do not accept, so they plan to kill him. You see, here also we can see that these do not stop Yehovah to choose these children of Jacob to fulfill his plan. They have in mind to kill the brethren. Just think about that. In spite of that, Yehovah has already established his plan. No matter what, he will take these children and he will change them. He will change them. So do not think that you will change yourself. It is Yehovah who will change you and me. And this is a long life process. This is not a one day magic way. It is a long life process through the tribulation of life that will be transformed, will be changed, will be molded when we go through fire. The fire of all what is going in our life. So Yehovah do not look at that. He looked at his plan. The plan was to bring Joseph into Egypt. And Joseph has to go into Egypt 20 years in order to be refined. To be refined and to become the one Yehovah wanted him to be. Because there are the shadows, and we will see that in the story, what is going on. So now for the symbolic, I encourage you to read the Parashah, because there is a lot of symbolic. When they throw Joseph into the pit, when they say that there is no water, when they say all the things, there is a symbolic behind it. This is the soul of the Torah. You have to read it to understand for yourself that Joseph is really a picture of Yeshua. So now, suddenly, during the way when Joseph has been sold into Egypt, we will see that now we speak about Judah, his marriage with a Canaanite. You know that the Torah tells us that we don't have to intermarry with strangers, but Judah did. Not only he did it, but we see in this chapter that not only he did, but I will give you in this chapter why it is so. Again, there are shadows of things to come, and you need to read, and you will see that Judah was not so faithful to his word. He made promises to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, which he didn't fulfill. And the word Tamar means a palm tree, which is a picture of righteous people. And we will see that again, these do not stop Elohim to do this way, to go this way. He will not look at what we are doing. What he look in our life is at his own purpose, what work according to his own plan. And this is what is very important to understand. So don't look at you too much critique, because we are not perfect. I am not perfect, you are not perfect. We will be perfected until the day of Mashiach Yeshua. For it is written that when he comes, Yeshua, we will see him as he is and we will transform in his likeness. Not only on this time. So we have a lot of time in order to change our life. We just need to be willing and to accept the condition to say, yes, I will go, and by prayer and trusting Jehovah that we will walk this way until we are transformed step by step, step by step. So here you will read also about Judah and Tamar, which is a very interesting story to see that first of all we can learn. Tamar knew, because she was adopted in the tribe of Judah, of the family of Judah, that the inheritance come only, I say it again, the inheritance come only through the male. I know Judaists today say that if your mother is a Jewess, then you are a Jew. But this is not according to the Torah. This is man's made tradition which do not exist in the Torah. You will not find it. The lineage is through the male semens, the seed, the Sarah, which is a sperma in Greek. Okay? So here Tamar knew that, and this is why she will be pushed. Because Judah refused her, the children, the last boy, she decided to trap Judah in his own plan in order to have the semens of Judah, to make sure that she will have a descendant from Judah. If it is not this way, we don't need to have it. Then this story is finished, there is no Mashiach. If Tamar do not get the seed from Judah, then we don't have a Mashiach coming from the tribe of Judah. It's finished. Because the descendants here is marked by the birth of Perez. So Perez is the one who will assure after that the descendants from Judah. So when you read this, just focus on that. Not on the story that she looked like a prostitute. In fact, she looked like a prostitute. I have posted in a video, in a commentary, saying that the Muslim today who put the niqab and hide their face, they should read Vayeshev chapter 38, because they will see that in the old time, the traditions say that the prostitute, they hide their face under a niqab to make their prostitution. You will understand why. Because they didn't want that man recognize their face. What they did, they paint their eyes and they put the niqab so that nobody can recognize her. And even the father-in-law, Judah, didn't recognize her. You see. So just to say that by side. It came to my mind, I found that very interesting. Now we jump again back to Egypt. In the chapter 39, Joseph has been now in the chapter 39 you will see that we are still in the book of Vayeshev, of course, and we start, and we see that Joseph is sold into Egypt in the house of Potiphar. I know I will not go into detail because everybody knows, at least I believe. So he's sold into Potiphar's house and the trouble he has. But what is interesting is to see that Joseph, in spite of being separate from his father's house, from his brethren, to be in a pagan environment, never lost hope in Jehovah. He never lost hope. He keep the ways, no matter what, to keep the Torah of his fathers. So we need to understand that Joseph was a man of high desire, and Jehovah gave him favor in the house of Potiphar. Whatever he did was prosperous, was successful. And believe me, sometimes we are discouraged because we see all the struggle in our life and all this trouble. But I want to encourage you, according to my own experience. I was at the point in the beginning of my work that I saw this story, I read it, but I say, oh, when I look around me, it was only trouble. Yes, this trouble were not from Jehovah. This trouble were my trouble, the one I create myself. And I had to go through, and Jehovah in his mercy gave me the strength, the patience, the endurance in order to go through. This was my Egypt. So I encourage you, if you see many trouble, many challenges in your life, be like Joseph. Be faithful to the Torah in a simple way. Don't be religious. To put a kippah will not change you. Okay, so just believe that we have rules in the Torah, and this is not how we look. If we look, you know, if I have a beard from 20 centimeters, or if I have a kippah on my head, or whatever I put as a sign. No. Here we work with the inner man. The inner man. It is only Mashiach in you that will change your life. So don't be tried by the story of people who want you to look like a Jew, or no, you don't need to look like a Jew. Okay? Because the true Yehudim is the one of the heart and not of the outside. So Joseph is sold there, and you will have the story with the prisoner in the prison after he has been tried by Potiphar's wife, who wanted to have him. This woman is a woman of the world. This is a woman you will find around you. You know, when we are young, we think, oh, we can master everything, and when come the age of the of the desire for a woman, we shouldn't make the mistake to look at women in the world. Because indeed, they are very, very attractive. Many times you will see them with their apparel, with their jewels, with their hair, with their painting the face, as I have seen now in the Facebook, and you know, they look at you with smile. I just tell you, the only question to ask is, does she walk in the Torah? If not, don't be a dreamer. She will not follow you. She will not follow you. If you want her, teach her the Torah first. When she accepts the Torah, this is a contract. Then you can walk with her. Okay? It's just an advice. You don't have to follow me, but the Torah tells us we don't have to marry outside our tribes. And the tribes we have is the house of Yaakov. Okay? That's not me. It's not Christianity. Yeshua never came to make Christianity. He came according to Luke 1:30 to 33 to reign over the house of Yaakov. The house of Yaakov is 12 tribes. Okay? Not Christianity. So when we are in Mashiach Yehoshua and keep the Torah, we are member and partaker of the household of Elohim, according to the words of Paul in Ephesians chapter 2. Okay? Fellow citizen of the household of Elohim. In the house of Elohim is the house of Yaakov. Jehovah said, I am not a man, I do not change. I do not change, Jacob. Okay? That's in the book of Malachi, you can read. So, we need to be together. It doesn't matter how far we are in our work. It's not us to choose. There is a parable from Yeshua who explains that. It doesn't matter. What is important is to recognize yourself as Joseph did. Joseph was among the pagans. He was finished. He was not under the protection of his father's house. He had all his mothers. He was now, you know, his mother was already dead, right? So he was not in the protection of his family. He was in a pagan environment, surrounded by pagan people, with many times evil, evil desire, evil lust, idolatry, pagan food. But Joseph kept the way of his father. So this is really important to understand, because Yeshua was like you and me. He was tempted like we are, but he never sinned. This means he never transgressed the Torah. And this did Joseph. Joseph, in the time he was in Egypt, was able to keep himself from temptation and sin until Jehovah, as we will see in the next parasha, lift him up at the right hand of Pharaoh, which is again the shadows. Okay, but I will not speak about that today. I want to encourage you to dig into this parasha, to know Joseph, because we need to understand that. And when this will enter and penetrate your nefesh, your soul, you will be transformed, you will be changed. This is a living word. This is a lamp in our path. So we have to go and to understand, to dig it. Okay? The conclusion of the parasha is very short. But once again, I don't give you details because I want to encourage you to read the parasha. I have spent time to research, to understand, to pray, to ask Jehovah for discernment. And this is my prayer to you, for you, that Jehovah may give you discernment in your study. So I encourage you to go to the parasha, to read, to pray, to meditate on it. You know, Psalm number 1 tells us that this is the way of the righteous man. To meditate on this word day and night. To meditate is to take the word and to let it run in our mind, to run, until we get divine light. This is not from man, you will receive a divine understanding. It is Jehovah, reward to the righteous. I say yes, it's a reward. It's a reward. If you believe, then when you meditate on the word, this is a spark coming from heaven. Jehovah will give you a revelation. Oh, these are big words. But this revelation is not a question to boast. That's what the problem from Joseph. Joseph was a young man, he was boastful, like we see young people who think that because they have seen something in the Torah or in the scripture and go everywhere to boast themselves, to show themselves more smart or the more intelligent than others. No, it's not this way. This way is the opposite. To aim to be like Yeshua is to humble ourselves. Every time we receive a revelation from heaven, from above, from Abba, then it should make us humble, to know that when we think we know, we realize that we don't know. Because the few we can understand is nothing compared to what Jehovah wants us to know. And Joseph will have to learn this process during the hard time he will have in Egypt, thinking that he is separate forever from his family, that he will not see them anymore. It will take 20 years of challenge before the restoration came. So you may be disappointed, discouraged, don't lose hope. Our hope is not in this world. Our hope is in Yeshua HaMashiach. So I encourage you, when you take this parasha week after week, you have 1 week. You don't have to read all the parasha. Sometimes I know people have told me, it's too long what you write, 23 pages, 40 pages. You have 1 week to read it. Every evening you can read 5, 6 pages or 4 pages or 3 pages. You have 1 week to read the parasha, to let your soul be nourished with the word of Elohim. And if you have any opposition to it, it's not a problem. You can contact me, you can write in, you can let a message, so we can discuss that. And I'm very happy if you see something you don't agree with me, we can discuss it. Okay? So I wish you a Shavua Tov, and we see you for the next parasha.